Oh no, Sam. I cannot deal with tenants. Oof, no, I don't want to deal with people. What do you mean? Someone's gonna call me at 2 a.m. to come and unclog their toilet? You, huh? Chasing people so they can pay their rent? And maybe having them stay at my place for months before I can ask them to leave? Mm-mm. No, Sam. I cannot do real estate investment. Come on, ladies. There are so many ways you can do real estate investments. Buying a place and renting it is not the only way. It may be the traditional way or the most known way, but it's not the only way. In today's video, we're going to be talking about different ways that you can do real estate investment, and a lot of them has nothing to do with you owning the real estate yourself. If you don't want it, you don't have to. And if there are any other ways after I'm done sharing that maybe you think of or that you have done, do share in the comments below about it. As I've told you, my most recent trip out east here in Canada, one of the reasons was actually to check the real estate market over there because the pricing, although inflated all over the country right now, is actually better on that end than in Ontario where I'm living, or like British Columbia or even Quebec. So I went and I checked out some places in New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and PEI just to see how it was because the price again was better. Granted, I didn't really find a place that I liked, and yes, if I had found a place that I liked, probably I would be renting it or Airbnb it. However, like I said, there are so many ways that you can do real estate investment. And let's start by the most known way that I've just talked about that people think is the only way, which is essentially you buying the asset. So you buy a place and you rent it out. It could be rented out completely, like a house, you rent it out completely, let's say to a family, or it could be, let's say, a duplex or a triplex, and then you live in one of the units, and then the second or the third unit you actually rent it out. So it's a way of also house hacking. Same, you may actually buy a house and decide to live in the house, but you have 3 bedrooms and you're a single person. You can decide to rent the other 2 bedrooms and also, help you pay your mortgage that way. Really, when you're renting your place to someone else, it's for that person to really help you pay your mortgage. So they're paying down your mortgage. Of course, you have to address any renovations, any repairs. Yes, you have to deal with people, but really, even if you don't want to be the contact person, you can hire a property manager for a fee, so you have to account for that in your expenses. And if you're making enough money to cover all of your expenses and make maybe a bit of money on top of that, you are in business, really. And so that's the first way. The second way is essentially you can buy what we call a real estate investment trust, and those trade on the market similar as a stock for a company. And essentially, when you buy a REIT, it's giving you the ownership of a pool of different properties. It could be commercial, it could be residential. So there are different type of REITs, and it's important. It's good for you to look at the REIT itself and just making sure that the pool of properties that they have in the REIT is something that you want to own. So let's say if you're someone who's into self-storage and you think that the self-storage business will go boom in the next years, then you might want to check out some REITs who are buying self-storage units, and then they will kind of like structure their offering and then offer those rates, like I say, similar to stock, and you can buy it on the market. So you do not own the asset per se, but you still through your stocks you are actually supporting a company that owns real estate properties. So that's another way. The third way that you can actually do real estate investment, if you're someone who is really good at spotting good opportunities, you can buy like rundown properties and renovate them quickly and then flip them. We call that flip on the flipping a property. So it's a short-term investment. It does require you to have a good cash flow, but even if you don't have the cash flow, you might be able to borrow the money, not from a traditional bank. There are like private lenders who will give you the money, and then you can renovate and then sell that house at a higher price within usually like few months, to a year. Like it's really something that you will flip right away and then sell. But then again, you need to have that eye for good opportunities, and you have to have either being able to do the job yourself, or have like a team of like contractors that are working for you, that can work on your project really quickly. The fourth way that you can do real estate investment is you becoming a private lender. So let's say you have a decent amount of cash. Let's say you have like 200,000, and someone like a flipper just bought a house, and they need like let's say 200,000 to make all the renovations, and at the end they will pay you back your 200,000 plus a certain percentage. So you kind of like become the bank. So instead of them going to see the bank, because traditional banks don't usually finance flippers, then they will come to you, and you can do that directly with the borrower, the flipper, or you can do that through a broker. Honestly, it's better to go through a broker, because the broker will really take care of vetting the flipper and making sure that they actually have a good credit, they have experiences in what they're doing. So it's kind of like less work for you to do. You still have to do your due diligence, but it's less risky than if you were to actually give the money directly to the flipper. So you can become a private lender, and I have a couple of friends of mine that's actually what they are doing. So they don't own the property, but essentially they're lending the money to someone who's going to be using the money to renovate the house, and then when they sell the house, then they will pay the money back. Usually those loans are like 1 year or 2 years, and then you have the interest payment every month that they usually pay you, and it's actually a decent rate that you can get, because it's higher risk, so it's like also a higher interest rate than the bank will charge, like sometimes like in 10-12%. So if you loan like 100,000, and like you're supposed to get like 10%, that's like 10,000 over the year that you'll be getting in terms of interest, and usually it's paid monthly. So each month you have your check that you will go and get from that flipper, so they'll be the one paying the interest. So it's a win-win situation usually, because the flipper gets to do the work without having to put their own money in it, and you as a private lender, you get to also get some interest payment without being exposed to owning the assets, although your loan is secured by the assets. So again, that's it's a very good way to actually do real estate investment without owning the asset yourself. And then the fifth way that you can do real estate investment is land development. So land development is actually for you to buy a piece of property, so a piece of land, and then work at designing, like essentially what type of building could be on that land, and working to get some, the permits and all of those things. So really getting the project ready so the developer can buy it from you and just start doing the work. Like a lot of time, people don't want to be bogged down with the whole getting a permit from the city, getting all the engineering work done and all of those things. So if you are someone who's really detail oriented and you like dealing with public administration, you can buy a piece of land and then do all of those pre-work. And then once it's ready, then you find a developer, someone who will come and really build the property right away. So they're doing the project right away. So those are really different ways that I know of that you can do real estate investment, and that I talk to people about, because again, most of the time when people talk about real estate investment, they automatically think of, putting the deposit, getting the mortgage, buying the place, and then dealing with tenant. And it's not always the only way that you can do real estate investment. And all of those ways you can make money as long as you do your due diligence, and then you keep on top of your business. You can make money with the real estate investment. That's why I'm really passionate about real estate investment, because there are so many ways that you can make money. Of course, beware of all of the scams, and really do your due diligence. If it sounds too good to be true, probably it is. Follow your intuition, make sure you're getting references, make sure you talk to people who are in the same field to get good information, and so you're really confident when you're making that decision. So that's that. If you have enjoyed this video as much as I did, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and also hit the notification bell, and do share with me if there are like any other ways of doing real estate investment that you know of, that you have done, and how did actually go for you. So that's about it for today. Until next time, keep on building wealth.